A very good afternoon to everyone. Welcome to this presentation. The topic of today's presentation is international relations, in which we discuss about the India's strategic partnership with Vietnam, UAE, and Netherlands, which reflects India's multi-aligned policy aimed to strengthen cooperation in security, growth, economy, and technology according to our national interest. So let's begin. Firstly, India and Vietnam. India and Vietnam shares a relationship built on 2000 years of civilization ties, mutual trust, and strategic cooperation. Today, this partnership spans over defense, maritime security, and cultural and regional stability. These factors making the Vietnam important for India in the Indo-Pacific region. We will discuss this in detail in the next slide. Firstly, we see the location, routes, and strategic importance of Vietnam. So, this is the Vietnam. Vietnam is the Southeast Asian country. Its capital is Hanoi and the surrounding countries are Laos, Cambodia, Thailand, Indonesia, Malaysia, and it has a strategic location in the South China Sea. Vietnam has the connectivity with the India through the maritime and the air routes. This is the maritime routes that connect Bay of Bengal, Andaman Sea, Strait of Malacca, and then to Vietnam. And this is the air connectivity routes between the India and the Vietnam. And in future, we are proposing for the land connectivity with the Vietnam that will go through the India, Myanmar, Thailand trilateral highway. Now, strategic importance of Vietnam. Consistent register of China. Vietnam is one of the few Southeast Asian countries that consistently resists China's territorial claim in the South China Sea. Territorial disputes with China. China and Vietnam had territorial disputes over Paracel Island and Spratly Island and have experienced maritime tensions. Common interest in rules-based order. India and Vietnam support a free, open, and inclusive rule-based Indo-Pacific upholding UNCLOS 1982 and freedom of navigation. Defense cooperation. India and Vietnam have a strong defense cooperation that helps in balance China's rising influence in this region. Strategic access and Act East policy. Vietnam provide India's strategic access to Southeast Asian countries and strengthen its Act East policy and Indo-East strategy. Now let's focus on the reasons why Vietnam matters to India. Vietnam is the natural partner of India due to the common concerns over China assertiveness. It supports a free, open, and inclusive Indo-Pacific region. It strengthens India's strategic footprint in South Asia, strong cooperation in defense, economy, and key pillar for India's Act East policy and Indo-Pacific strategy. Now, India and Vietnam engaged comprehensive strategic partnership. A partnership rooted in history, built on trust, focused on a shared future. India-Vietnam relations were upgraded to an enhanced comprehensive strategic partnership during the Vietnamese President Tu Lam visit in India in May 2026. India and Vietnam share civilization ties spanning over 2000 years, influenced by Buddhism and Hindu-inspired Cham civilization. My Son Temple complex in Vietnam is a UNESCO World Heritage Site associated with the ancient Cham civilization. Prime Minister Jawaharlal Nehru became the first Indian Prime Minister to visit newly liberated Hanoi in 1954. India and Vietnam formally established diplomatic relations in 1972. India consistently supported Vietnam during the Vietnam War and backed Hanoi during 1979 Vietnam-China border conflict. India and Vietnam established a strategic partnership in 2007, which was India's first partnership in the Asian region. Bilateral relations were upgraded to a comprehensive strategic partnership in 2016 before being elevated to a strategic partnership in 2026. India and Vietnam conduct 2+2 ministerial dialogue involving their foreign minister and defense minister. WinMax. WinMax is a Vietnam-Indian bilateral army exercise. It is one of the major military engagement conducted regularly between India and Vietnam. India gifted the missile INS Kirpan to Vietnam in 2023 to strengthen its defense cooperation. Vietnam formally joined IPOI, Indian Pacific Ocean Initiative, to strengthen maritime security and maritime awareness. Bilateral trade between India and Vietnam exceeded $16 million and set have a target of increasing bilateral trade to $25 billion by 2030. During 2026 summit, India and Vietnam signed 13 agreements covering rare earth elements, critical energies, and cross-border QR payment connectivity. Now, South China Sea and UNCLOS. South China Sea remains central to India-Vietnam strategic convergence. Both countries support freedom of navigation, peaceful dispute settlement under the UNCLOS 1982. More than the half of India's trade pass through this route, and India's continued ONGC Bidesh exploration in Vietnam exclusive economic zone reflects supporting for legal maritime rights despite China's objections. Now UAE. UAE is located in the Middle East or the West Asia. It is the surrounding countries are South Arabia, Oman, Yemen, and in the north, Iran. It has the strategic location in Persian Gulf and the Gulf of Oman. It gives connectivity of India to the Central Asia, Arabian Peninsula, and the African countries. And it also has energy security corridor, access to Africa, and a strategic gateway to Europe. And it is very close to India, just 3-4 hours flight from India, a strong people to people culture and economic ties. It has a strategic maritime location in the Indian Ocean region.